So, welcome guys to my channel, The World of Finance. And this is my first video basically. So, here I have tried to go through the basics of risk and what is risk and related to risk mitigation, those things. So, we during the course we'll be covering uh, basically types of risk and anything or everything that is related to risk which I have understood and have tried to explain in simple terms. So, since this is my first video, it won't be much long and it will have a few starting points, and then we will be going on ahead depending on the response that I receive. So, let's begin. So, this is my first video, as I told you. So, our channel name would be World of Risk. So, let's start. So, here we'll see what is risk and a type of risk basically. So let's get started. So what is risk basically? In simple terms, risk is nothing but uncertainty of future outcomes. So what does this mean is that when we are uncertain that what will happen in the future, then there is always a risk associated with that event. So basically, we can define risk as the chance of loss or profit associated with an event. Say, for example, we are crossing a road and this is an event, and the possible outcomes are we have safely crossed the road or not safely crossed the road. So, basically, this is what risk is. So, I have seen many videos, articles, everything where always risk is shown as a bad thing or a thing which is a bad outcome. But what I understood is risk is also a chance of profit, right? That's why we are going and uh, taking risk. So in terms of finance, risk can be defined as loss or gain in terms of value. So if we focus solely on finance domain, the loss or gain in a value of an asset or standing positions is considered as a risk. So let's move forward. So what are the characteristics of risk? So the first characteristics would be uncertainty. If there is no uncertainty, then there is no risk, right? If we already know the outcome and we are not certain or there is no uncertainty, then we cannot say that there is a risk associated. Next is the probability. So probability will be like if there is an event occurring, then you must have a probability of separate events occurring with that major event. Example, you have invested in a stock or share. There are probability that you will get profit. There is a probability that you will get loss. And uncertainty is that whether you will get profit or not, you are not sure. Then there is impact, right? Now, what does impact define? So basically, we it's a characteristic of risk. Say you have, I'll take this example of a stock or share. So basically, if you have invested say 500 rupees or 500 INR in a stock, and you are about to lose say one paisa, so you may not treat that as a risk to you because the impact is very small. But if you lose all the 500, or say you are about to gain 10,000 rupees from investing 500, then you will consider it as the risk and you will think that, oh, yes, this is impacting me or this impacts the environment near me. So uncertainty, probability, and impact, these are the characteristics of risk. Now if I go ahead and tell you one more example from normal example from our day-to-day life. Say you are camping somewhere, and at night you are camping somewhere and you heard a sound outside your camp. Now, this is uncertain. You don't know that what from where the sound is coming or who is making the sound. There is a probability that the sound is made by some big animal or small animal. And impact is like if it is a big animal, if you will be having impact. It is a small animal, you will not be having impact. So these are risk. If a mouse is near your tent, you will ignore it, or maybe you will just put a cover in there and you will sleep peacefully. But if a lion is there, you will react differently. So these are characteristics of risk. So let's move forward. Now, what are the types of risk? So basically, risk can be differentiated into many, many types, but I have taken these types as these are common risk that we see. So the first risk is the financial risk. Financial risk, as we know, is increase or loss in the value of the asset where your finances are affected. Next is the operational risk. Operational risk is where uh, for due to any reasons your operations or day-to-day things are getting affected. So this is known as operational risk. Then we have strategic risk. This is a risk in which basically strategies that are made, how are they impacting you or your environment is covered. Next is the compliance risk. This is related to the laws and regulations or the rules and regulations that is set forward and how those impact you. Then there is environmental risk. As you know, this is a big risk nowadays as environment we need to be concerned about the environmental risk because environment if it's depleted, it's a big risk for and the entire humankind. So we have another risk, which is a political risk. This is due to the change in the governments, due to the change in the policies, due to the change in the world economics. So anything that affects you due to the change in these kind of things is known as political risk. The next we can classify as health and safety risk. So this is something which is related to your own health. Means say the safety of your health, the safety of your family, the risk associated to health and all those. So basically, I have categorized risk in these few categories. So let's move forward. During the course in the channel, we will definitely go ahead and look at the financial risk, operational risk, all those risks in details. So this is a general question like why do people take risk? So uh, the main purpose of people taking risk is expectation of return. We as a human being we always like something in return, so that's why we go ahead and take risk. So this is the general understanding why people go ahead and take risk. So let's move forward. Now what is risk management? So risk management again simply means that whenever we have a risk we need to manage it so that we can be assured and have peace of mind. So this is a very basic definition of risk management. So now see, I told you we as humans, we do not like uncertainty and change. And hence it is very natural for us that we look for ways to know the outcome. If we know that if we invest today somewhere or if we are going somewhere or say if I have done some work and in future what outcome we have of that work or any possible event, we will sleep properly today. But say if we are not sure that what is going to happen, we will have anxiety. So basically, it's in our tendency to always know, look for the outcome or at least try to know. That's why we go ahead and try to mitigate risk. So this is how what basically risk management is. Now let's come to what are the key components of risk management. So the first component of risk management would be risk identification. What does this mean? Basically, we saw a few categories of risk, right? So the first step in risk management is always to identify the risk. Say whether it is a financial risk, whether it is a political risk, or whether it is what kind of risk basically it is. So we will identify the type of risk, or say we will identify what kind of risk it is. The next thing is risk assessment. So once we identify the risk, we will go ahead with risk assessment. Like, say for example, we'll again take the example of the camping. So we here we have identified the risk as, say, some animal is outside our tent. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and assess the risk. Like, we'll try to know that whether it is a ferocious animal, whether it is a domestic animal, whether it is a small animal, whether it is a big animal. So we will try to assess the risk. Now, the third step that comes is prioritizing risk. So this is important because, again, if it is a mouse or if it is a rat or if it is a insect or anything, so we will be like, we will go ahead and maybe we will say that, okay, it will not harm us or it will not do us any harm. So let's go ahead and sleep peacefully. If it is a big animal, lion or a ferocious animal or any wild animal, we will prioritize the risk as high. So in this prioritizing task, we will categorize risk as low risk, medium risk, or high risk. Now, mitigating risk. So once we have identified the we have prioritized the risk. Now we will try to mitigate it. If it is a low risk, we will devise strategies to go ahead and mitigate it. Say for in our example, if it is a low risk, say for example, an insect, we may just brush it off. Say if it is a medium risk, let's say for example, it's a animal, say it's a owl. It's not a ferocious animal, but it's still an animal bigger than an insect. So what we'll do, we'll try to clap our hands or make some noise so that it goes away. If it is a big animal like tiger, lion, or any ferocious animal, what we will go ahead and do is we'll keep quiet or try to light a fire so that it gets scared, and we'll try to we'll take the most actions in that case. So this is how we'll try to mitigate the risk. Now the next thing is monitor slash review. So this is also a very important part of the risk management framework. Why? Because once you have, for example, say mitigated the risk, let's take our example. You have there was a lion or a tiger, and you have made fire and everything, and the lion tiger went away. Now you need to ensure that within that time where you are camping, the lion or the tiger or the animal does not come again. Because if it comes again, the risk you have mitigated for a time being, not completely. So we need to keep on monitoring or reviewing our strategies how it do not come back again or the risk is not seen again. The next would be communication. So this is one of the very critical aspects of risk management. Again, taking our example, since it is a very simple example to relate to, say you have mitigated the risk, the animal had ran away, and you kept on monitoring whole night, and then there was nothing. So if you don't communicate it with the, say, campsite or the next people who are camping there, then somewhere we have missed on the risk management procedure, because the lion or tiger or any animal would come again, the process will go on again. So there is no point in like doing it over and over. So if you communicate, if you tell them that yes, this is what we did or this is how we did, the chance of the risk goes down. So that's why communication is very, very important. So these are few of the components of risk management. Now, the question is, why is risk management important? So from the previous example, I think many of you know why is it important. However, what I think is, I have noted it down. So let's quickly go through it. So first is safeguard ourselves. You can see that we safeguarded ourselves, protect our resources. Whenever there is a risk associated, our resources are at risk, so we need to protect our resources. Improve resilience. This is also important because again and again we need to improve the risk methodologies, or the risk should go down with time. Now the thing is, the next would be comply with regulations. Yes, this is very important because there are certain laws and regulations placed everywhere, and you need to comply with them to be successful. In a society also, you need to be complying with rules and regulations. In a organization, everywhere you need to comply so that you be a part of it. So what these all will do is increase your reputation, basically reputation protection. So if you are someone who has managed risk properly, so people will start talking about you. They will tell that yes, this person has managed everything properly. Yes, everything, or this organization has good risk management. And these leads to basically trust building. Once people trust you, they will come with you. They will be onboarded with you in case of a organization, or people will come to you for advice and everything. So this is how, if you are good at risk management, it will lead to these factors. So this was it for today, and thank you so much. This was my first video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Your like, share, and subscribe would definitely help me, motivate me to make more videos in the future. And I'll try my best to give whatever knowledge I can in a very simple way. Again, a disclaimer, I am not anyone who is suggesting you for any investment, anything, nothing. I just want to explain what I understood about risk and in simple terms. So that's my purpose. So thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe.